Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. So we've now come to our third um, tutorial for this unit, which is Information Systems, Unit 4. What have we covered so far in our previous um, tutorials? We've looked into understanding the different type of information system that are used in organization. So we presented them. We presented them softwares that allows teams to um, facilitate their day-to-day activity. We looked into describing them, and also we looked into explaining the advantages of using them. Also, we analyzed the characteristics of these information systems, and we were able to cover some of the merit and distinction tasks where we were able to suggest which information system a company should implement and when is more suitable for them. And then we were able to justify our decision um, based on our business context. Also, we looked into understanding the principal use of them, such as their advantages, and also what are the disadvantages. What could be them through the negative impact that we might have by implementing these operating systems or softwares that are required for our business purpose. So in today's session, we're mainly going to focus on understanding how organizations use information system to support strategic and operational decisions. So in today's session, again, we're going to be focusing more on understanding how companies are going to benefit by using them in specific situations, and how this allow them to improve the quality of work. So for this session, we have 3 learning outcomes, which are also followed by a merit and a distinction activity. So from our learning outcomes, we're now expecting to understand application of information system strategies, such as analysis of trends, analysis of competitors, carrying out cost-benefit analysis, financial forecasting, set and manage future budgets, reduction of costs, create competitive advantage, create new products, improve our products, improve our services, establish future goals and aspirations, planning improvement, and also we'll look into many more of our learning outcomes. So let's get into our presentation. So looking at our indicative content. So we know now that in today's fast-paced business world, organizations they heavily rely on information system to guide them both on their day-to-day operation and also for the long-term planning. So from what we've covered so far, these systems also are mainly focusing on helping us on decision making at all levels of access, reliable, up-to-date information, which is essential for staying competitive, reducing risks, and making smart choices. So regarding this section, we're now going to explain how different type of information system are used to support our operational decisions. When it comes to operational decision making, we now know that these are made by frontline staff and lower level managers. So these decisions are often routing, they're often the routing operated daily and rely on fast, accurate information. So how this information support our operational decision? It can support them with automation of routine tasks. So this help us to speed up the process, like order entry, billing, and stock management. Real-time monitoring, where staff can respond quickly to changes. Error reduction, where we have a standardized process to reduce the risk of mistakes in, for example, payroll, transaction, or scheduling. So one example could be a retail business, where in supermarkets like ASDA or Tesco, these transaction processing systems are now going to record every sales instantly. And basically, this helps managers to make better decisions, such as when to reorder stock, how to schedule staff based on peak hours, which product to promote or discount. In a hospital environment, in the hospitality environment, we can now see that in a hotel, a booking and reservation systems can support daily decisions about room availability, pricing, and staff allocation, which is now going to be helping the business to respond to customer demand efficiently. Strategic decision making. These are mainly focusing on long-term decision and they're mainly made by senior managers. So with these decisions, these are meant to shape the direction of the entire organization, and this require a deep analysis of trends, forecast, risk, and opportunities. So how does the information system support these strategic decisions? We support them through data analytics and forecasting, where this helps them to identify patterns in customer behavior. Scenario planning, for example, decision support systems allows managers to explore what if scenario before committing to a strategy. Performance tracking, so executive dashboards, for example, this allows them to show the KPI and long-term progress. So one example for this could be a healthcare organization where a national healthcare provider might use a decision support system to analyze population data and plan where to build a new hospital. So the system can now consider factors like patient demographics, travel time, exist facilities, and funding availability. So here we have an example of, we have a comparison between operational decisions and strategic decisions, where we looked into time frame. So we know for operational, this is focusing mainly on short term, while strategic decision focus more on the long term. We looked into who are the responsible for these decisions. When it comes to operational, we're looking into staff and line managers, while strategic comes from our senior executive and board of directors. System types involved. For our operational decision, we will now have TPS and MIS, while for our strategic, we now have a DSS, EIS, and ERP. Both of them need to we need to look into them, what we're going to focus on, the priority. With operational, we're looking into efficiency and consistency, while on a strategic point of view, we're looking into our growth, innovation, and competitive advantages. The data that's collected and required for this decision, when it comes to operational, we're looking into real-time data, transactional data. While with the strategic, we're now looking into historical, trend-based, and market data. So to summarize this short introduction, we can now see that the value of information system lies in the ability to connect data with decisions. So we now know that operational decision, they're often quick decision and accurate, while for our strategic decision, they'll now provide more insight, for foresight, and foundation for growth. So in our learning outcome one, we're now going to examine with example how information system are used to support strategic decisions. So when we now understand that strategic decision looking into our long-term business growth. So these are high level and long-term choices made by our senior managers. So these decisions involve large investment, risk assessment, and consideration of future trends. So from what we've studied, information systems play a critical role in helping leaders make informed strategic decisions by providing access to reliable, relevant, and forward-looking data. So now we're going to examine how different types of information systems are used to support this strategic decision making. So what makes a strategic decision? We now know that this will typically involve expanding into new markets, developing new product or services, investing in technology or infrastructure, entering partnership or acquisition, and also looking into long-term financial planning. Example for our strategic decision, we can now look into a retailer planning international expansion. So, for example, a global fashion brand like Zara might want to expand into new markets such as Southeast Asia. So what could be the strategic decision involved that involves this analysis? We're now going to look into market demand in that region, competitive activities, local regulations, supply chain capabilities, currency risks, and to support this, the company might use DSS to simulate different expansion scenarios and forecast sales. EIS dashboards, which will show global performance trends, and ERP systems to check if existing logistics and inventory system can handle the new region. So all these tools will now help executives to compare multiple options, evaluate risk compared to reward, and make data-driven decisions. Another example could be our university launching an online degree. So we now know that a lot of universities are providing the option for the student to study remotely and access all the materials through the portals. So this might be a strategic planning system to decide whether to offer online degrees. So these decisions will now impact the budget, staffing, IT investment, and branding. So what could the university do to support this decision? They could now use market research database to analyze students' demand and competitors' offering, financial modeling tools for forecasting, and also learning management system, which reports to review how current digital learning tools are performing. So without these systems, the university could be relying on guesswork instead of evidence-based planning. Another example could be a car manufacturer investing in green technology. So companies such as Toyota might need to decide whether to invest heavily in electric vehicles production. So this could be a long-term decision, which involves a massive financial commitment, and this can impact the brand image, R&D, and market positioning. What could be a strategic decision that they can rely on? This could be forecasting tools to predict demand of electric vehicles for different countries, competitor analysis reports, R&D data which is pulled from international database to access current capabilities. So these systems can help senior leadership make an informed decision that align with industry trend and environmental goals. So let's now look into why information systems matter for strategy. So without supporting evidence, supporting information system, strategic decisions could rely too much on options, intuition, or outdated information. So why does this matter? Leaders can now access real-time performance metrics, explore what-if scenario, justify the decision with data, reduce risk by spotting problems early, and the quality of the decision depends on the quality of the information. So that's exactly what these systems provide. So as you can see, whether expanding to a new market, investing in technology, or launching a new service, we now know that decision must be based on reliable, up-to-date information. So we're now going to examine with examples how our information systems are used to support operational decisions. So operational decisions, we know that these are the day-to-day activities that line manager and staff might be involved with. And we know now that these are usually short-term and based on current data. So from our understanding, these informations are going to play a key role in helping staff and supervisors make this decision quickly. So we're now going to examine how different type of information systems support operational decisions. So in a retail, we're now looking at managing inventory and sales. So for example, supermarket like Tesco might have, they certainly have operational staff which need to know which product are running low, and this allows them to update the inventory. So to support this decision, the business are going to use transaction processing systems. These systems are going to help them record each sale in real time, automatically update inventory level, triggers stock reordering, and also allows the store manager to decide on a daily basis. Another example could be our call center, where managing workload and staff, where with the customer service center, operational decision can include how many agents to schedule for each shift and how to respond to high call volumes. So what does the managing team do in this situation? They rely on management information systems which are used for track call volume by time of the day, monitor average call duration and wait time, provide live dashboard and supervision. And with this data, a shift manager can now decide whether to call in more staff or reroute the calls to another department. In hospitality, we're now looking into room booking and pricing. So for example, Premier Inn, which have front desk staff and operational manager, and they rely on a reservation management system, which helps them handling booking and room availability. So what does this system do? It shows which room are booked, available, or out of service, suggest dynamic pricing based on demand, allows for quick check-ins and check-outs, and this supports operational decisions such as which room to assign to working guests and how to price room during busy periods. With logistics, fleet, and delivery management, so we now know that a carrier company like DPD will now be using a fleet management system, which help the staff to make decisions about delivery routes, vehicle maintenance, and driver schedules. So the system can track real-time vehicle location with the GPS, delivery status update, fuel usage, and maintenance alerts. So why information systems are critical for operational decisions? This is critical because operational decisions need to be made fast and often. So this information system will help them from providing real-time data, reducing errors, improving speed and consistency, supporting better customer service, and also going to be allowing quick response to unexpected problems. So as you can see, whether if it's retail, hospitality, logistic, or customer service, this system can help employees make the right choice quickly and confidently based on accurate and live data. Now we're going to present our argument to a non-technical audience. So, as someone who has studied how business use information system, we now understand that not everyone is interested in technical details. So that's fine, because what really matters is what this system can do for the business. So now we're going to explain in simple terms why our information systems are important to us and how they support decision. So why this information system matters? So we now know for a successful organization, today really depends on our information, whether it's sales figures, customer data, stock levels, or staff schedules. So we now need to organize, access it quickly, and use it to make smarter decisions. So that's exactly what information is there for. And these tools helps businesses to run smoothly, save time, save money, and make better decisions. How do they help with decision? When it comes to operational decision, these are the regular decisions made by staff and managers every day, like what stock to record, how many people to schedule for shift, how to respond to customer requests. When looking into the bigger picture with a strategic decision, we're now going to look at the long-term, high-level decision made by business owners or directors, like launching a new product, expanding to a new location, or investing in a new service. What are the benefits for this? It allows us to save time, less paperwork, save money, automated tasks that would take hours to make manually, helps grow the business. With the right information, we can now make smarter choices. Involves customer service, quick access to customer records, which means better, faster support, and gives a competitive edge where businesses can now use system efficiently to respond to fast and perform in a more efficient way. What happens without one of them? If a business doesn't use information system properly, they might now waste their time chasing missing data, make poor decisions based on outdated information, lose customer due to slow service or errors, fall behind competitors who are more organized and efficient. So it's not just being technical, it's about being smart with information. So as a final message to a non-technical audience, this could be, you don't need to understand how an information system is built, just like you don't need to know how engine works to drive a car. What matters is what it helps you to do. So the message is simple. Information system help you make better decision, run a more efficient business, and serve your customer better. If you want to stay competitive and grow. You can't afford to ignore them. We've now come to our merit activity, where we're going to analyze the key benefit of information system in supporting strategic and operational decision making. So, from what we've learned and observed in real business scenario, information systems are not just tools for storing data. They're essential in helping organizations make both everyday operational decisions and long-term strategic decisions. However, it's just as important that data used in this system is handled ethically and within the law. So now we're going to analyze the key benefit of information system in decision making. And also we're going to explain how organizations must act responsibly when using them. So what are the key benefits when it comes to strategic decisions? We're now looking into data-driven long-term planning strategy, such as decisions like expanding into a new market or involving in new technology which require insight from reliable data. So this information system, especially decision support system and executive information system, allows senior leaders to forecast trends, explore what-if scenario, and analyze past performance. Benefit for them is that this will now reduce the risk, improve accuracy, and gives leadership confidence in their decisions. Key benefit of operational decision making. This gives real-time information from frontline staff at the operational level. They now use systems like TPS, transaction process system, and management information system, which provides daily insight that helps staff respond to live situation. The benefit, this is will now lead to faster response, fewer errors, better customer service, and more efficient day-to-day running of the business. Shared benefit across strategic and operational use. So both of them have accuracy and consistency. So we now know when everyone in the organization is using the same system, decisions are based on consistent, up-to-date data. This avoids confusion and reduces the risk of making decisions based on incorrect or duplicated information. These also improve communication and collaboration, where information systems often include shared dashboard, reporting tools, and alerts. So this supports for better communication between departments, ensuring everyone is working with the safe facts. Competitive advantage. So organizations that use data well enough, from the shop floor to the boardroom, they will now make faster, smarter decisions that for those who rely on outdated manual process. So this gives them an edge in competitive markets. When it comes to ethical and legal use of data, we now have to look into GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, which applies for the UK and the EU. and every business is required to have them in place. And these are now going to give the consent before collecting personal data. Only collected data that is needed stored securely, and allows customer to access or delete the data if required. So, for example, companies that are using CRM systems must not send marketing emails to customers without permissions or store sensitive data for longer than necessary. When it comes to ethical consideration, now know that businesses should be transparent about what data they collect and how it's used. So the data should not be used to mislead, discriminate, or manipulate customers. Internal employees should only have access to data that's relevant to their role. So we've now come to summarizing that the power of this system can also come with responsibilities. So if data is misused intentionally or not, it can damage trust, break the law, and harm businesses. We're now looking into our the extinction activity. We're now going to evaluate the importance of testing different scenarios by changing variables within project models. So, in our experience studying decision-making and information system, we've now come to understand that by making accurate decisions about the future, this is now going to be rarely straightforward. Businesses operate in a world full of unexpectancy on uncertainty, with changing customer behavior, economic shift, rising costs, and new competitors. So that's why projection models, especially those which are used in decision support systems, are incredibly useful tools. So these models allow decision makers to test what-if scenarios by changing variables like cost, demand, staffing levels, or raw material prices. So in this task, we're now going to evaluate why testing different scenarios is so important and how it can directly impact the quality of strategic and operational decisions. So what are going to be these projection models? So these are digital tools or spreadsheets that use current data to estimate future outcomes. These are now going to allow businesses to input assumptions such as future sales growth or rising fuel costs. And also, this can help us to see how those assumptions affect our profit, resource needs, or other key metrics. So they commonly used in financial forecasting, supply chain planning, staff scheduling, sales projection, market entry planning. What is the importance of testing these scenarios? Is now going to give us support to better risk management, whereby testing scenarios help businesses plan for them uncertain by understanding how different outcomes might affect performance. Leaders can prepare backup plans or adjust strategic before problem arise. improve confidence in strategic decisions with these decision makers, which are now more confident when they can see how decision might play out under various conditions, not just for better case scenarios. Reveals hidden weaknesses. Sometimes a business plan looks strong until a single variable changes. So the scenario will now be testing helps identify weaknesses that might not be obvious in a single projection. Also encourages flexible agile planning, where operations that rely only on fixed forecast often struggles to adapt. So this scenario testing encourages flexible thinking and allows the business to shift courses quickly. So what happens if we don't test our scenario? So what could happen is that they might overcommit resources, for example, hiring too many staff. They might underestimate the risks, for example, supply chain delays. Also, the strategy might be too rigid, leaving them exposed to sudden changes. Financial losses could occur due to overly optimistic forecasts. So, in other words, without proper scenario testing, even well-planned strategies, this can fall apart when real-world condition changes. So, our evaluation, from our point of view, scenario testing using projection models is not just helpful it is essential in both strategic and operational decision making. So businesses face too many unknowns to rely on a single version of the future. So by testing different possibilities, they now can reduce surprises, make smarter choices, build resilience, plan realistically, and not just optimistically. So this was everything for today's session. Is there any question for me?
No, thank you, Victor. That was all really clear. Yeah, no, ready to go on to the next session.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will end this session and start the new one for the assignment discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Victor.
Okay, thank you.